30 engineers struggled for 6 months. But this hidden delivery girl revealed an amazing solution. In the heart of a sleek tech startup in San Francisco, panic buzzed through the air like a live wire. 30 engineers, fueled by caffeine and ambition, crammed into a room so filled with tension that even the walls seemed to bulge. They'd been chasing the perfect app, one that could save local small businesses from the jaws of corporate giants. But 6 months later, they were still running in circles, their hopes dashed against the rocks of disillusionment. On the streets below, Mia, a 24-year-old delivery girl, pedaled furiously, weaving through cars and cracked pavement. She spent her days racing across the suburbs, delivering meals to busy professionals who hardly noticed her. She was a ghost in their rhythm of fast-paced life, a fly on the wall, observing as the world turned, while her own passion for creating something meaningful simmered just below the surface. Raised by her gritty single mother, who often said, "Hard work breaks down walls," Mia held tightly to that belief. Today was like any other day until she got the call to deliver lunch to the struggling engineers. She parked her bike outside their sleek glass building, her heart pounding with anticipation. With each step towards the office, she felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. It was lunchtime, and the scent of sizzling stir-fry wafted through the air, an ordinary meal for extraordinary minds. As she stepped inside, laughter and frustration fused into a cacophony that felt electric. Mia caught snippets of their discussions, big ideas tossed in the air but quickly falling flat. What if we tried? No, that won't work. Each attempt faded into the void. She lingered, her heart aching for the dreamers who carried the weight of countless small businesses with nowhere to turn. But before she could make her quick exit, the clamor reached a fever pitch. A programmer shouted, "The deadline is tomorrow. If we don't figure this out, we're sunk." Agitated murmurs rippled through the office. Suddenly, an all-too-familiar tension curled around her chest. She understood that kind of pressure. Before she could overthink it, Mia hesitated in the doorway, her hand clenching the lunch bags. Feeling the weight of their despair, she took a step forward, even as self-doubt gnawed at her. Excuse me?" Her voice broke through the chaos. All eyes turned to her, the silence so thick you could slice it. "I know a lot about small businesses. What if you added a local delivery option?" The scoffs came first, a painful reminder of the dismissive attitudes she faced constantly. But as she saw their reactions shift, a fierce hope ignited within her. "Listen, I deliver for these businesses every day," she continued, steadying her voice. "I see what they struggle with. They need something simple, like an easy way for customers to order online." The engineers glanced at each other, uncertainty flickering like candlelight across their faces, a moment of clarity amidst the wreckage of their grand designs. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Mia stood there, tension in the air thick enough to cut. Was she really the last hope for their project? She wanted to turn and run, but instead, she remained rooted, facing the moment. The stakes felt high, and yet she had a voice. Would they hear her, or would their biases wrap around her like chains? Would her words break through the walls they built around their elite judgments? With uncertainty hanging like a heavy fog, the potential for change flickered before them all, depending on a simple idea from the unseen girl who just wanted to make a difference. Mia held her breath, scanning the faces of the engineers. Each one looked like a storm cloud close to bursting, their brows knitted and eyes wide with both skepticism and curiosity. Her heart raced. She stepped into their chaotic world, and now all eyes were trained on her. Could she really be the spark that ignited their stagnant project? "Tell us more," a tall engineer with tousled hair finally said. Hope rippled through her veins, chasing away the doubts that had lingered just moments before. Mia took a small step closer, her voice firmer now. Every day, I deliver food from local restaurants. They're struggling, but they have loyal customers who want to support them. If you create an app that allows customers to order directly from their favorite spots, it could change everything. You could provide these businesses with online visibility and a delivery service that works for their needs. Murmurs of intrigue swirled around her, and she could see the gears turning in their minds. It became clear that some of them had never considered the direct link between technology and local support. Do you think people would actually use it? A woman with glasses asked, her pen poised over a notepad. Mia thought about the countless times she had delivered food, the smiles exchanged, the gratitude she witnessed. Absolutely. But it has to be easy. People love convenience. If you can design an interface that's user-friendly, they'll embrace it. A flicker of excitement lit up the room. Ideas unfurled like petals of a blooming flower. They began to brainstorm, making notes, exchanging thoughts. Words flew, echoing through the previously despondent atmosphere. What if we included special deals for repeat customers? Suggested another engineer, animated. We could create a loyalty program. With each passing moment, Mia felt more at home. She was no longer an outsider. She was part of something bigger. They were all united by a shared purpose, to help their community. But amid the growing energy, a voice of doubt crept in. We only have one day, someone mumbled, deflating the balloon of excitement. Can we really pull this off that fast? Mia's heart sank momentarily. She wanted to cheer them on, to bolster their enthusiasm. But what if their fear was valid? She took a deep breath. Please listen. It won't be easy, but you've spent months stuck. Why not take a risk? You've watched this project stall, we need to jumpstart it. To her surprise, a palpable shift took place. The engineers exchanged determined glances, slowly nodding. Okay, let us push forward then. The voice came from deep within the group, igniting a rallying cry among them. Let us build a prototype like yesterday and test it with customers. Mia felt a surge of courage. They had brought her into their world. And now, it was her turn to remind them that dreams could become reality with grit. The noise in the room transformed from an anxious buzz to a steady hum of purpose-filled dialogue. Just as she felt a sense of camaraderie solidifying, a sudden vibration rippled through the air, a message alert. One of the engineers checked his phone, his expression instantly shifting from focused determination to dread. What is it? Mia asked, her stomach tightening. The restaurant down the street. They just posted that they're closing their doors for good. They can't keep hanging on, he said, his voice heavy with defeat. Mia felt the weight of that news hammer against her chest. Reality crashed back, colder and sharper than the dream that had just begun to unfold. They weren't out of the woods yet. Then we work harder, she stated, her hands clenched into fists. What if we reached out to them instead? Help them be the first on our app? We have to show that we can make a difference. Something shifted once more. The engineers exchanged knowing glances, steeling themselves as Mia felt hope fill the room again. With renewed focus, they gathered around their whiteboard, ready to strategize, map out contacts, and plan for outreach. But just as they launched into action, Mia glanced outside the window, where shadows lengthened against the setting sun. Would their work be enough? She couldn't shake the unease gnawing at her thoughts. What if they failed? Would another business like the one down the block meet the same fate? As if sensing her turmoil, one of the engineers turned to her. Mia, we're in this together now. You've helped us see a way, and we won't let this opportunity slip away. She took a deep breath, grounding herself. Hope surged within her again, fierce and palpable. The stakes were high, but together, they'd face whatever was coming. Still, a worry lingered in the back of her mind. There would be challenges ahead, and they had just begun. How would they measure up against the fast-approaching deadline? But before they could dive deeper, another notification buzzed through the air. This time, it was alarming news. A large corporate competitor was about to launch their own app, targeting the very businesses they aimed to help. Panic sparked through the group once more. What now? A voice rang out. The clock was ticking, and the battle to save the small businesses was just beginning. Mia's heart raced again, but this time it wasn't from excitement. It was pure dread. She could feel the tension in the room climbing, fingers drumming against desks, glances darting about like anxious birds. This was no longer just about an app. The weight of collective hopes and dreams bore down on her, and for a brief moment, she felt lost beneath it all. "Okay, let us think," the tall engineer with tousled hair said, his demeanor shifting from hesitant to decisive. "We can't just sit here and react. We need a plan." Mia nodded, her mind racing, grasping for solutions. "We need to act fast. If they're launching soon, we have to get something in front of customers before they do. Can we reach out to the restaurant that's closing? Maybe we can get them on board before it's too late. Timing is everything." The woman in glasses flipped through her notes. "We also need a way to show the restaurants that our platform is beneficial. A demo, perhaps? Something they can see right away." "Exactly." Mia felt the adrenaline surge again. "We should create a small test batch of the app just for them and show how easy it is to use. If they see it in action, they might be convinced to try it out." The room flooded with murmurs of agreement, voices overlapping as they brainstormed. Ideas flew like sparks in a dark room, illuminating their path forward. "But we'll need to build that prototype fast," one of the engineers cautioned, worry lacing his tone. "How are we going to gather all the data in such short notice? Can we crowdsource information from our delivery database?" "I've delivered to plenty of places," Mia chimed in quickly. She felt a rush of determination. They were gathering momentum, and it felt contagious. "Let us divide into teams," the first engineer proposed, moving to grab a whiteboard marker. "Team A can focus on the app's design, while Team B reaches out to contacts at the restaurant and prepares a demo pitch. No time to lose. Everyone, grab a seat," Mia shouted, igniting the dynamic in the air. They didn't need more time to think they needed to do. As they broke off into groups, Mia found herself paired with the tall engineer. He shot her an encouraging smile that made her chest swell with hope. Together, they mapped out a rough draft of the app's interface, conscious of the time ticking away, each click against the keyboard echoing like a countdown. Minutes turned into a blur of sketches, calculations, and short bursts of chatter. Mia could barely keep up with the pace, but she could feel their unwavering enthusiasm, an engine fueled by necessity. Then, just as they finalized the initial draft, Mia's phone buzzed again. Glancing down, her stomach dropped. Another notification, a local news article touted the corporate competitor's new app launch. They were releasing it that very night. "This is not good," Mia muttered, dread pooling in her stomach. "If we don't beat them, we might lose our chance for exposure. Then we have to move faster." The engineer beside her was undeterred, his voice steady. "What if we set up an event? A launch party or something that involves both our app and the restaurant?" "A block party," Mia exclaimed, the idea bursting forth like a water main breaking. "We could invite people to try food from the restaurants we partner with. It will bring attention both to the app and the businesses we want to save." Excitement crackled in the room once more. Energy hummed in the air. The engineers rallied again, each of them eager to make their mark. With every call made and every idea built upon, Mia felt more firm in her position, her voice slicing through the rising wave of momentum. But even as they planned, a question gnawed at the back of her mind: would a block party really be enough to combat the corporate giant? What if they put everything on the line, and it all fell apart in front of them? "Okay, so let us put this plan into action," the engineer began. But Mia held up a hand, pausing the stream of words. "Wait," she said, taking a breath. "What happens if we fail? What's our backup plan?" The room fell quiet, and the weight of her question pressed in on them. Would their dreams come crashing down? The clock was ticking, the pressure rising, and the battle had only just begun. What would they do when faced with a moment of truth? The tension hung thick in the air. Mia's heart thudded like a drum, echoing her mounting anxiety. She scanned the faces of her teammates, each one caught in their whirlwind of thoughts. They felt the weight of her question hanging there. What if they failed? The tall engineer broke the silence. Okay, so we'll think about a backup plan later, but right now we need action. His voice cut through the unease, rallying them back. Let us get organized. We can't let fear hold us back. With a nod, Mia pushed her doubts aside. She grabbed a notepad and started listing tasks. Let us break the block party down into smaller pieces. Who can contact local businesses? Who can write press releases? And adjustments for the demo? Hands shot up around the room. Ideas flowed again, and Mia felt the energy shift. Someone needs to handle social media. We need that buzz, piped up the shy developer, usually quiet but now brimming with determination. I can handle that. A voice came from the back, and in turn eager to prove herself. Great, let us make it fun, Mia said, feeling hope bloom in the pit of her stomach. We need vibrant flyers and engaging posts that show off both the app and the restaurant offerings. People love to share food experiences. Laughter lightened the mood as they laid out games for the block party. Food tastings, live music, and booths featuring the app in action. They were creating something bigger than just an app. They were breathing new life into the community around them. We can't forget the feedback, a seasoned engineer reminded them. If they don't see the value, then it won't matter how much excitement we build. Yes, real-time feedback during the event will be crucial, Mia countered, her mind racing. Let us set up a booth where people can use the app and give instant reviews. We'll capture everything. The team nodded, excitement rippling through them once more. They began mapping out every detail, every contact they needed to reach out to. The clock ticked, but the worry that had weighed on them lingered just beneath the surface, like a programmed warning light. As they worked late into the night, Mia kept glancing at her phone, nervous each time it lit up. The competition's app was looming like a storm cloud on the horizon, and with each ticking second, they felt persistently behind. All right, if we're all in, let us make sure we spread the word. I want to count down on our social media, the engineer suggested, sparks of enthusiasm dancing in his eyes. Absolutely. Let us make it feel like a major event, Mia emphasized, crossing her fingers behind her desk. But deep down, she harbored fears about the outcome. What if no one showed up? What if the block party flopped? She pushed those thoughts aside, determined to keep moving forward, one step at a time. As the night wore on and final touches solidified into a cohesive plan, Mia felt a surge of hope. They were fighting against a titan, but this was their moment to shimmer. They might just be the underdogs that everyone loved. And as laughter erupted around the table, for the first time, she believed they might shock everyone, including themselves. Yet, just as optimism dipped into the weary night, a text message popped up on her phone. From the restaurant they aimed to save. The schedule is tight, and we might not be able to participate after all. Mia's heart sank, the message striking like a bolt of lightning through the room's isolation. Would this be the domino that brought everything crashing down? With a sudden weight in her chest, she opened her mouth to speak, fear creeping back in. But what could they do now? Would they face the giant alone? The clock was still ticking, and time was running out. What would they do when they faced their biggest obstacle yet? Mia stood frozen, the message burning a hole in her pocket as the unthinkable sank in. The restaurant was their anchor, the heart that would draw people in. Without it, could they still ignite the community? Her teammates caught the shift in her demeanor, and the buzzing enthusiasm began to fizzle. What's wrong? The tall engineer asked, his brow furrowed with concern. Mia took a trembling breath and shared the text, her voice barely above a whisper. They might not come after all. A collective sigh erupted around the table, and shadows swept across their hopeful faces. The energy that had sparked with promise now fluttered uncertainly, like flames dancing in a gust of wind. We need them there, the seasoned engineer said, shaking his head. We can't lose this momentum. The intern who had volunteered for social media perked up. What if we highlight their story? Show how important they are for this block party. Mia's heart raced at the idea. It was bold, but it could work. We can create a video, she exclaimed. Interviews with their chefs, a sneak peek into their dishes. We'll position them as the stars of the event. The tall engineer nodded, eyes alight again. If we give them the spotlight, they might see the value. Invite them back into the fold. Mia's mind world. Will play to people's love of hometown heroes. Everyone wants to root for those who make their community special. As they quickly gathered materials for the video pitch, she felt hope knitting itself back together, but deep down, worry clung like a shadow. What if that wasn't enough? What if the restaurant still turned their back? They sprinted through the tasks with renewed fervor, fueled by possibility. Between snippets of brainstorming, Mia's phone buzzed again. Her heart raced as she picked it up, half afraid to look. But it was just notifications from the social media posts, each a crashing wave of engagement and anticipation. Look at this, the intern shouted, eyes wide. People are sharing their excitement about the app. For a moment, laughter unfurled freely again. But Mia knew the ticking clock was their real enemy. Amidst the laughter, she could still hear the pang of fear echoing in her heart. The restaurant's decision loomed like an unfinished puzzle, pieces scattered and chaotic. They wrapped up and began to finalize the schedule. Mia noticed her hands shaking as she jotted down notes. Okay, I need someone to reach out to the restaurant again. Maybe we can invite them for an exclusive glimpse of how this will bring customers in. The seasoned engineer raised an eyebrow. You think we could convince them? We have to try, Mia said, her voice tinged with desperation. This can't be just our success. It has to be theirs too. The group nodded, the determination swelling again as they engaged with this newfound direction. But with every cheer that erupted, the knowledge of their ticking deadline pressed heavier against them. In the midst of her thoughts, Mia felt an idea flicker like a candle in the dark. What about enlisting some local influencers? They could come and hype the event, drive traffic. Yes, absolutely, the intern chimed in. That could be the push we need. They spun back into action, planning who to contact as fatigue began to creep in again. Mia's thoughts kept jumping back to the restaurant. If they could just get them to believe in this vision, everything could hinge on that moment. As the night wore on and their plans began to take shape, Mia felt the anxiety still bubbling just below her skin. Time was running thin, and the possibility of failure loomed heavily in her mind with every tick of the clock. But then her phone rang. The restaurant. Mia's heart surged. This could be the turning point. She took a deep breath and answered, a wave of hope pushing through the fear that had been a constant companion. Mia, we need to talk. Her heart raced, knowing this call could shape their fate. Would she hear what they hoped, or would everything come crashing down all over again? Mia's breath caught in her throat, fear and hope colliding as she steadied herself. What's going on? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady, though it shook just a little. We've got a lot on our plate right now, and we can't just jump in without weighing the options. The restaurant owner's voice crackled through the phone, the tension palpable. Please, we believe this block party could bring so many people together. It might help your restaurant more than you think, Mia urged. She could visualize their plan, a vibrant celebration that not only honored local food but also showcased the heart and soul of the community. Silence stretched out painfully. Mia's pulse raced. Would they stand by their decision after all? I understand your passion, and that's the kind of energy we need. But we're torn. We're short-staffed, and there are issues to resolve, the owner finally said, his tone softer now, more vulnerable. What if we could help? Mia asked, emboldened by a spark of desperation. We can share your story, boost your visibility. This is a chance to rekindle connections. Rekindle, he repeated, as if tasting the word. I don't know, Mia. I appreciate your dedication, truly, but what if we get burned again? Mia's heart sank at the hesitation. I get that, but think about what you mean to this community, how much you matter. We want to celebrate that with everyone. Give us a chance to show you. There was a long pause on the line, and Mia imagined the owner weighing his options, his worries swirling around him like a storm. Her team's hopes hinged on this moment, and she couldn't let it slip away. We'll think about it, he finally said, the heaviness in his voice still present but a glimmer of hope filtering through. Just let us know. And if you're open to it, we'd love to plan an exclusive preview. You can test the waters, see how people react, Mia suggested, her heart racing with each word. "All right, I'll consider it." "Definitely," he replied, the hesitation easing a bit. "We don't want to dismiss the community's spirit. That's important." "Thank you," she breathed, relief flooding her veins. They hung up, and she turned to her teammates, who were hanging on to her every word. "How did it go?" the tall engineer asked, eyes wide with anticipation. "They are considering it." Mia met their gazes, excitement creeping back but clashing with her concern. "But we need a plan. If they come back, we have to be ready to impress. Let us get cracking." The intern chimed, a fresh wave of enthusiasm surging through them. They launched into action, brainstorming ideas for the video. They need to capture the ones who poured their heart into those dishes, the stories simmering with spices and flavors. Mia sensed their energy spark again, but in the back of her mind, her anxiety still loomed. What if the restaurant turned them away for good this time? Later that night, as they went over plans, Mia couldn't shake her worry. She stepped outside for fresh air, the moon hanging heavy and bright above her. The street was unusually quiet, but a few stars twinkled like tiny beacons of hope. Then a thought struck her. What if, beyond local influencers, they could include everyday people, those who had grown to love the restaurant over the years? Could their voices draw the restaurant in enough to be a part of this? Mia rushed back inside, excitement igniting her spirit. What if we gather stories from the community? Real testimonials from people who've cherished their food, their presence in our lives. Her teammates cheered, the spark of inspiration bright once more. They began drafting a plan to reach out, to capture genuine moments of connection. But as Mia listed out tasks, her heart twinged with worry. They were racing down a path that could lead to triumph or heartache. Could they harness enough love to pull the restaurant back in? Somewhere inside, she sensed that every tear, every joyful memory, could hold the key. And as they worked late into the evening, the front door swung open. A shadow filled the doorway, and Mia turned sharply. Would it be the restaurant owner finally making a decision? Or was it someone else entirely with a different twist in the story? Mia's heart raced as the shadow in the doorway shifted. Her breath held tight in her chest. The tall frame of the restaurant owner stepped into the light, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "Mia," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Hi. I didn't expect to see you here," she stammered, scrambling to rearrange her thoughts. Her teammates glanced at each other, confusion blending with a sudden surge of hope. He hesitated, then stepped further inside, closing the door behind him. "I've thought a lot about what you said. The community connection, it's been hard to ignore." The energy in the room shifted, and Mia felt the weight of possibility settle over them like a warm blanket. "What did you decide?" she asked, her voice a mixture of hope and caution. "I came to tell you we'll do it." His lips curled slightly, revealing a hesitant smile. "An exclusive preview block party." Cheers erupted from her team, a burst of laughter and excitement that echoed off the walls. Mia's heart soared, and she could hardly contain her own elation. "Thank you. Thank you. This means everything." But his expression turned serious. "We need to be realistic. I'm still short-staffed. If we're going to make this happen, we'll need your team to step in." "Absolutely. Whatever it takes." Mia grinned, her mind already racing with plans. "We can help with setup, food prep, even the marketing. Just say the word." He nodded slowly, feeling the weight of the moment. "I'll need commitment from your team too, though. No half measures. If we do this, we give it everything." Mia felt the intensity of his words sink in. This wasn't just any celebration. It was about regaining trust, showcasing resilience. "Agreed. We'll give it all we have," she said, determination solidifying in her chest. The hours slipped by as they laid out the finer details, each step reinforcing their bond and commitment to the restaurant and each other. Her team divided tasks, the air buzzing with enthusiasm. They were driven now not just by fear of failure, but by a shared desire to lift their community. As thoughts of gathering testimonials filled her head, an idea sparked. "How about we set up a space where people can come and share their favorite memories at your restaurant? Hands-on testimonials." "Yes. Let us create a memory wall," one of her teammates shouted. Imagine pictures and stories blending into a vibrant mural. It'll not only honor the past but inspire the future. Another added, excitement resonating throughout the room. Mia nodded, exhilaration lacing her thoughts. We'll make it interactive. Live music, local artists. Reaching out to schools at LL be a celebration of our community reborn. As they scribbled ideas, laughter filled the air. But beneath the excitement, Mia could feel the weight of the challenge ahead. Could they really pull this off? The thought nestled deep within her. Just as she was about to voice her concern, the restaurant owner raised his hand. Even if we have everything planned, it can still go wrong. What happens if no one shows up? The room fell silent, each person staring at him, the laughter dying in an instant. Mia's heart sank. The doubt cast a shadow over their bright ideas like an unexpected storm cloud. Then we'll show up for each other, she replied after a moment, steadying herself. This is about more than the restaurant. It's about us and the love we've built. Together, we can turn this into something beautiful. But what if it's not enough? Depressed, vulnerability etched on his face. Mia took a deep breath, meeting his gaze. Then we'll learn from it. It won't be the end. Just a push toward what's next. As they reaffirmed their ambitions that evening, tension mingled with anticipation in the air. But as the hour grew late, a sudden thought hit Mia hard. What if they weren't ready for the weight of their own hopes? Would the pressure become too much? And just then, her phone buzzed on the table, illuminating the dim room with a startling brightness. Was it a call from someone who could either elevate their plan or send it all crashing down? Felt like everything hinged on that moment. Mia's fingers trembled as she reached for her phone. The bright screen glowed with a message from her younger brother, Kyle. Hey, got something important to tell you. Call me ASAP. Her heart stopped for a moment. She quickly glanced around the table. Her team looked energized but lost in their own excitement. Give me a second, she said, stepping aside to make the call. The phone rang, and just as Kyle answered, Mia's stomach knotted with worry. Hey, what's up, Mia? His voice was frantic, tinged with urgency. You won't believe what happened. I was talking to my friends at school, and they might be able to help with your block party. Help? How? She asked, trying to suppress the hope that surged. They are part of a community service club, and they love to pitch in. They can handle promotions at school, get kids excited about it, and maybe even perform. Kyle's enthusiasm was contagious, but there was a slight tremor in his voice. But they just want to make sure it's going to happen. Mia's heart raced. This was what they needed. A younger crowd could bring life back to the place. That's incredible. But how do we know they'll actually show up? I know it's a lot to ask, but if you can promise them you'll give everyone something to remember, they'll be all in, Kyle replied. Mia could hear the determination in his voice. Okay, tell them they'll have a spot to showcase their talent. Activities. Food. I have to share this with my team. Mia's spirit soared. She quickly ended the call and hurried back to the table. Guys, I just spoke to Kyle. He has a group of students eager to help us. They can do promotions, performances, everything. The room lit up again, and the ideas began to flow. We can have dance battles and open mic sessions. And maybe a mural painting contest, one of her teammates chimed in. But as they brainstormed, doubt crept back into Mia's mind. What if this was just piling too much on? Wait a minute, what if it's all too much? What if they don't have the resources or experience? Then we'll guide them, the restaurant owner said firmly. We're all in this together. And even if it doesn't go perfectly, it will show the community we care. Mia felt the weight of those words seep into her. They were embarking on something potentially beautiful, a chance to rebuild their community spirit. But a little thread of anxiety began to unravel. Was she taking on too much? Just then, the restaurant owner's face tightened. I need you all to understand. The stakes are high. If all these expectations aren't met, people's faith could be shattered. Not just in the restaurant, but in our ability to come together. Those words pierced through Mia. What if their aspirations led to disappointment? She tried to shake off the foreboding notion. Then let us make plans, but keep it manageable. Every small success counts. The team rallied behind her, marking each idea as either high, medium, or low priority. As they began drafting a blueprint for the day, laughter filled the room, but Mia could feel the underlying tension climbing. Maybe her desire to bring everyone together was setting them all up for a fall. The clock was ticking. They needed to finalize their plan soon. Just as they wrapped up, another notification pulsed on Mia's phone. A message from the owner of the restaurant flashed before her eyes. "We're counting on you. This is more than just a party. Let us make sure it's unforgettable." The pressure mounted, and Mia felt her anxiety spike. Could they truly meet the expectations? As her phone buzzed once more, Mia glanced at the screen. It was another message. As she opened it, she braced herself. What would it say? Do they have the support they need, or is another hurdle ahead? Mia's heart raced as she opened the new message. The words flickered across the screen, and her breath caught. "Wait, I think I have a lead on local sponsors. Meet me tomorrow." A wave of relief washed over her, but it was wrinkled with uncertainty. Local sponsors? That could ease a lot of the pressure. Yet who could it be? Was it someone reliable, or just another ghost in the small-town landscape? She glanced up at her team, their faces lit with ideas, but she couldn't shake her nerves. "I'll be right back," she said, needing a moment to clear her mind. Escaping outside into the cool evening air, she leaned against the restaurant's brick wall, taking a deep breath. The sun was setting, painting the sky in warm hues, and for a moment, Mia could feel the weight of her expectations lift just a little. But the anxiety simmered beneath the surface. This party was supposed to mean something meaningful for everyone involved. A way to breathe life back into their town. And yet there was this fear gnawing at her. What if they failed? What would that mean for her dream? For her brother, who believed in her, and for the community that had been counting on her? "Hey!" Kyle's voice snapped her back to the present. He ran up, breathless and slightly wild-haired, a huge grin plastered on his face. "Did you see my message? Can we really do this?" Mia turned to him, her thoughts racing. She wanted to project confidence, but the worry of not living up to expectations consumed her. "I got a message about potential sponsors, but Kyle, what if it's not enough? What if they bail on us?" He shrugged, unfazed. "You just gotta believe. You know they're gonna want to support something that's heartfelt. Besides," he pulled a piece of paper from his pocket. "I wrote down all my friends willing to help out. They're excited about performing. We're going to make this unforgettable." Mia scanned the names, a spark igniting in her chest. It was like seeing hope in print. "Okay, but we can't push them too hard, right? Let them just be part of it. Let them have fun. Remember when we were kids doing that talent show and everyone came out just to see us? It was the best." He kicked the gravel and laughed. The warmth of nostalgia flooded through her, mixing with the very pressure she felt. "You're right. It's about coming together." With renewed vigor, she headed back inside, Kyle following closely behind. As they rejoined their team, Mia felt lighter. They discussed roles, schedules, and tasks with energy, forging a plan that started to feel tangible. Mia was about to suggest a group chat, so everyone could contribute their ideas when suddenly someone shouted, "Wait, where are we going to host this dance battle?" A moment of silence fell over the table. They hadn't even thought about that. The room grew still as the reality of their vision hung in the air, alongside the tension from the uncertainty. "Could we use the park?" Mia suggested, her voice steady. "It could be more open to everyone and we can draw in the families." As they began discussing logistics, another notification chimed on Mia's phone. The name glowed on the screen: Community Center Manager. Her heart was in her throat. Could it be the answer to their venue problem? As she clicked to open it, her mind raced with anticipation. But Mia wasn't prepared for what lay beyond this message. Would it lead to a deal or more complications? Mia's fingers trembled slightly as she opened the message. The anticipation washed over her like a rush of cold water. "We'd love to support your block party. Let us discuss using the community center. When can we meet?" It took her a moment to process the words, feeling the tide of relief sweep over her. She blinked, absorbing the excitement blooming around her like freshly opened petals. "Guys, we might have a venue." The room erupted in cheers, the weight of anxiety simulating a distant memory. The restaurant owner beamed, a smile breaking through his cautious demeanor. "That could change everything. Let us secure the space and get to work." With renewed purpose, they all rallied around the plans, sketching out logistics, counting on each other to bring their hopes to life. They'd come together to make something special, every member's voice echoing through the buzzing excitement. Hours melted away as they collaborated, ideas springing up and connecting like stars in a vast, dark sky. Mia felt more alive than ever. This was her moment. A chance to build something that could change lives. Finally, after what felt like an exhilarating eternity, they solidified their plan. Cal sprang up, beaming. "Let us get back to the restaurant now and pitch the idea. We need to make this official." The group's energy surged again. They quickly wrapped things up, each member clutching their notepads and an assortment of task notes. Mia felt a fierce fire burn within her. Together, they could not only save the businesses but also strengthen the community. Mia, with her team following like a tale of excitement, marched into the restaurant's cozy glow. The aroma of soul-lifting spices filled the air, igniting the sense of comfort and warmth they all sought. As they approached the owner, Mia felt her heart race with every step. "We're ready to present our plans. We want to turn the block party into an unforgettable showcase of community spirit." The owner listened carefully, engaging in every detail, the slight frown on his face replaced by poised interest. Mia could see the weight of uncertainty lifting slightly with each passing moment. "What you're proposing is bold. This could really breathe life into both our business and the townsfolk." "I'm in," he said finally. A collective gasp escaped the team. Then cheers filled the restaurant as relief washed over them. Mia couldn't fight the tears welling in her eyes. "We're going to make this amazing," she whispered, heart bursting with gratitude. Everything was starting to fall into place: the meals, activities, and the promise of engaging the community. But still, a hint of fear lingered just underneath. "Let us get everyone in touch. We need sponsors, volunteers, and the local influencers to make this happen," someone called out. And with that, they were off, electrified with determination. The days leading up to the event flew by in a manic swirl of energy. Confirmation calls, posters, video campaigns, community shoutouts. It was a delightful chaos filled with laughter and more than a few exhausted grins. Finally, the day arrived. The sun broke through the morning fog, illuminating the community center, and excitement buzzed like a live wire. People poured in, families, friends, and kids eager for the festivities ahead. Mia stood at the edge of the park, surveying the throng of activity. Each smiling face filled her heart with an indescribable warmth. The wall of doubt began to dissolve as she saw kids painting murals, families sharing stories, and laughter echoing through the trails of her heart. But amidst the joy, a hollow fear found its way back. What if no one had signed up for the app? What if all of it was for nothing? "Hey, Mia," Cal called, running up to her. He flipped his phone around, the screen dazzling with notifications. "Look at this, everyone's downloading the app. It's blowing up." Mia's breath hitched. The relief coursed through her veins like the sweetest nectar. "Are you serious? Look at the feedback too," he said, his eyes wide with excitement. Mia leaned over to see numerous messages pouring in, testimonials from local businesses expressing their excitement and gratitude. "We did it," she whispered. The weight of disbelief lifted. Her heart swelled as she saw people using the app, placing orders seamlessly, all facilitated by the very connections they'd fought so hard to build. As the day unfolded, activity erupted in waves. Kids danced, artists painted, and the air filled with music as the restaurant's chefs prepared their best dishes. Mia felt the heart of the community wrap around her. Later, just as the sun set, painting everything in hues of orange and pink, she caught sight of the restaurant owner chatting happily with community members, laughter cascading around him like beautiful music. "Moments like these remind us why we fight for our dreams," Mia muttered, awash in gratitude. The event was a huge success, and beyond the app, it had fostered a renewed sense of pride in their community. As she stood surrounded by happy families and friends, Mia felt a rush of gratitude, knowing that she had contributed to something bigger than herself. They fought against the odds together, a tapestry woven from the threads of resilience and determination. And within that tapestry, the lives they had brought together lay the realization that hope can rise in the unlikeliest of places, sometimes from the heart of a delivery girl. As the crowd began to dissolve, the laughter lingering like the fading sun, Mia caught Kyle's eye. "We should do this again." "Absolutely," he grinned. In that moment, amidst the warmth of their triumph, something shifted within Mia. They not only created an app, they built a community, faced challenges, overcame fears, and projected a message that could echo for years to come. And as the shadows faded into night, Mia felt the spark of hope ignite once more. They had started a movement, and this was just the beginning. With a heart full of gratitude, she turned to her team. "Let us always build each other up, no matter the odds. Together we can break down walls." As they embraced one another in a tight hug, Mia beamed with the power they had discovered together. But this wasn't just the end. It was a renewed chance to continue their journey, to keep uplifting lives, fighting for change, and loving the connections they formed for generations to come. And now, dear viewers, this is your moment. You need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive stories. Every new tale brings hope and transformation, and you don't want to miss out. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm and show your support for authentic voices. Comment below with your reactions and how this story touched your heart. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the love and resilience together.